Hey, Jonathan here. I've got a question from Federico Tomasetti who asks, how do you qualify leads? How do you discriminate from who is going to be able to move forward and people who are just wasting your time? I want to say that I don't. I want to say that I don't qualify leads, but the reality is that I can kind of sense a time vampire when one comes along. I don't know how to get that. I don't know how to develop that sense without just dealing with time wasters. But when I get a lead from someone, I don't know, I can just kind of tell from the language they use, how polite they are, whether or not it's not so much that I feel like they're going to waste my time necessarily. It's more that I feel like we're not going to be a good fit. So any leads that I get, it's fairly, I'm only going to respond to a subset of them, not all. I mean, I'll respond to all of them, but generally I'm not going to move to a phone call with everybody. I'll kind of, maybe I'll ask a couple of qualifying questions in an email, but it's not really about whether or not they're a time waster. It's more about fit. Like, do they seem like a good fit? Are they in a situation where I can really help them? So, I suppose after, it just takes practice, and after a while you can just start to sense it, who's not a good fit, who might be a better fit. Another thing to think about is, do you really have this problem, or are you just imagining that you have this problem? I know not everybody has so many leads that they can't keep up with them. So, unless you're just buried in leads and you're getting a lot of tire kickers, I would say, any opportunity to have a conversation with someone who thinks they might want to hire you is probably going to be, if nothing else, useful for market research. So I think having more conversations is better. So if again, unless you're completely buried with leads and you don't have time to deal with them, having a conversation with a business owner or someone who's in a position to maybe hire you is going to be good market research. And if nothing else, you'll develop that spider sense for what kind of an email a tire kicker is going to send. Another thing you can do, some people do, if you really are buried in leads, then you can put up roadblocks that are in between you and leads. So hoops they have to jump through. So for example, in my private coaching, it's not for everyone. In fact, it's hardly for anyone. It's on the expensive side, and it is the kind of thing that can attract people who they're anxious and they want to work with me one-on-one, but they're really not ready. So in that particular case, I put up a fairly lengthy application form first. So, and it has a lot of questions on purpose. If you're not, so that someone who's just maybe up late and frustrated with their business and sort of has a knee-jerk reaction and wants to apply for coaching, they're not going to be able to just do that without some serious thought, sitting down and answering. It's like 20 questions, and some of them require some real thinking. So anybody that's going to go through that is probably fairly well qualified. It's not very often that I get one of those submitted that's just like, NA, 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 like they skip over the answers or anything, or they just totally a bad fit. So you can put up roadblocks like that, but I wouldn't start out that way. I would only do that if you're buried in leads and you really don't have time to pick up a phone and talk to these people who are thinking about maybe hiring you. Okay, I'll leave it at that. I'm Jonathan Stark, and if you have a question for me, you can hashtag AskJonathan on YouTube, Twitter, or LinkedIn, and we'll add it to the queue and I'll answer as soon as I can. See ya.